Good evening again, folks. We want to welcome you to another edition of the MLC Talk program. This is the platform where we discuss all things Lutheran. Today we have with us my dear brother Elijah Zina. He's joining us from our studios there in Minneapolis. Our sister couple Soleil, we're hoping that she'll be joining us, and also the folks in Liberia. As we all know at this time, the senior brother Josiah Jokaitis, he has an assignment, governmental assignment, so uh, he's still trying to settle in yet. So we will have to be a little patient with him. Um, and we all know the network situation in Liberia. So we're hopeful that the ambassador will join us too. Ambassador Tablo will be joining us shortly. We're hopeful of that. But in the meantime, Brother Sina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, Willie. Thank you again for the show. We're happy to be here to talk to our people. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we have Father Tornorlah Vapilah. You know, for some folks, you know, he's a quiet man, quiet, quiet old man. Uh, he doesn't talk much, but he believes in, I mean, he believes in the work. Uh, uh, I've had the opportunity to, be in several meetings with him, and I've had the opportunity to also to know him, I do know him personally, especially his children, Nola, Vitor, his wife, and even his niece and I were in the same choir at St. Matthew, Ari Mabandi. So yeah, so
I never knew you sang in the choir, man.
uh,
I in the choir before.
who?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh man, I sang in the choir, man. We did everything. We were on the altar. We were, acolytes. Then we went to the choir. We sang in the choir. Yeah, man, we sang in the choir from our refugee days. Yeah. So
I haven't heard you sing before, man.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, listen. The liar said my wouldn't fire away. Ask,
No, no,
ask.
I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying that all the years, man, we've been together. Today is the only
Oh
time
no,
we're hearing that you
abs-
sing in the choir. But
oh no,
all
absolutely.
that brother you and Aqualad
Oh
and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Oh no, man. We sang in the choir when St. Matthew did her first gowning ceremony. We were part of the 42, is it 42 or 48? If I'm not mistaken, it was in the 40, about 42 or 48 men, choir. Yeah, the chorister. Um, and I remember Brother Stephen Cover, he would say, he would always tell us after practice, when you go home, sit down before you lie down. That would be the closing comment. Yeah,
What is that? You lie down.
he will always tell us that would be his closing comment. Yes, Stevo, that's his closing comment. He would say, when you go home, remember to always sit down before you lie down. So it play in my mind. Say, what he means, sit down before you lie down. You know, yeah, but
Obviously,
I gotta understand. If you don't sit down before you lie down, you
don't
will
want
hurt
to be.
yourself. The bed is not a
So
swimming pool, mama. Yeah, bed is not a swimming pool.
what
Yeah.
that has to do with like singing though? Like you have
No,
to sit down before you lie down or other kind of stuff. It's pretty
oh,
much
but man,
teaching you. You
in the choir, man, we
gotta
and what's the guy
you gotta
name?
take off expression for your director, huh? Even when you're home,
Oh
gotta
yeah,
sit
man,
down.
we gotta take instruction from the director, man.
You
No,
gotta sit
I
down.
tell you what, when it was like when we were in that week, the week for the gowning ceremony, man, everyone on their P's and Q's, man. You gotta make sure, because even lateness was no option, man. We all want to
No,
rob, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. So
tell me, my
and
brother.
we used to go for practice, we used to go for practice. Then All right, folks. Today uh we expected to speak with Father Tornorlah Vapilah. He is the chairperson of the Phebe Hospital Board, and also the chairperson of the Special Presidential Task Force for the Totota fire disaster recovery. You know, the recovery management team. So we are trying our best. You know, at this time it is raining heavily in Banga Bon County, and that's where he is right now. So we are trying every effort to get him on the phone and to get him online, and he's trying his best as well. He's trying his best. Father Vapla is trying his best. Uh, um, so we'll try every means possible. And brother, if you can just take over quickly, and then I'll try to revert to him so that you know. Um,
Sure, Willie. Like you were saying, the situation of the Totota fire disaster is a situation that is dear to our hearts, especially those of us who are from that region and that of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. We all understand the level of work the Lutheran Church has done within that community. And with this disaster situation in Totota, we want to keep echoing the voices of the people of Totota to that of the people who are serving them so that at least they can get the minimum or they can get some justice for what happened. We all understand the stigma and everything associated with the Toyota fire disaster. There are survivors who went to hospitals. They are back homes. So we just want to keep talking about this situation, and that's the reason why today we want to host Mr. Tornorlah Vapilah, who is the chairperson on the steering committee, on the national steering committee for the Toyota fire disaster. We want to hear from him, he part of the story, to give us some update as to what's happening to the survivors in Toyota and also what he's been doing or what they've been doing as a committee in order to reach out to these individuals. As you all know, we've been having a series of sections on this. We hosted the diaspora, the Total Citizen Diaspora, one of their members who's from Total, Dr. Toto. We hosted him and he gave us the feedback when he visited Liberia and his experience when he got into Total, how the community is responding to this disaster and how people are feeling after the situation, the stigma that it has left on the community and everything else. And then we also host a member of the local steering committee where one of our own pastor, Reverend Romeo Moma, is part of that committee who's headed the psychosocial team in order to help the victims and the survivors recover from this traumatic situation. And we heard some things, and we just want to reach out now to the National Steering Committee to get some clarification around some of the things that we've been hearing, and to also know how the government of Liberia is working with these victims and survivors of this Toyota fire disaster. You know, in our country, many a times when these things happen, if you don't have somebody who's there to talk for you when it happened, and everybody will come when it's up there, but the moment everybody leaves, the community is left just as it was. There's no follow-up or anything, and that's what we're seeing in Total right now. Since the disaster happened in Total, people made donations and stuff like that. But what's happening after all these politicians left? What's happening to the victims? Oh, how are people caring for them? What's the day-to-day activities of these people are like in Totota? And who's reaching out to them? We don't know. So we want to keep talking about this because this is a national issue. This is a national disaster that happened, and it should be treated with such urgency and care so that the people can of Totota can know that there are people who are out here or people who are out there listening to them who are people there are people who are fighting for them. So we want to make sure that all the questions are asked, and then that people who are in leadership are providing the kind of leadership that is required of them. So we just don't want this sort of that situation to be one of those situations where everybody would just come like a wildfire, and then they leave, and then the community is hurting. There's no reconciliation, there's no rehabilitation, there's no treatment, there's no care for the survivors and victims. So as you are joining us tonight, Willie is in the background. He's trying to get Mr. Vapla on the phone, or we're trying to get him online. We just want you to be patient with us. We are doing everything in our power to get the committee chairperson online tonight so that we can have a wonderful conversation with him. Welcome back, Willie. Were you able to get the committee chair?
Yes, absolutely, and thank you so much, Brother Sina, for keeping the show alive while we were making some adjustments. And we can safely say that um, with the help of technology, we have our father. He is on the line with us. Father Vapla, we want to welcome you. And before you can give your opening comments, um, we just want to state that for those who are listening and our viewers as well, uh, Father Vapla is no stranger to the Lutheran Church. Uh, when my interaction with Father Vapla reminds me of the late Dr. G, you know, aka my Phebe, you know. So I just see that, yeah, I just see that same passion uh, 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 from our father, especially being in meetings with him. I can see that, that enthusiasm, that burning fire in him, especially when you talked about the Lutheran Church in Liberia, and precisely, Phoebe, just the church work as a whole. Father Vapla, before you could join us on the phone, we were just speaking during the intro, and stated that I do know you. I know, like, I know all of your children, Vitor, Nella, and Irene, Sata, pretty much familiar. Ari and I were in the choir together at St. Matthew, so again, we want to say welcome. And uh, uh, um, we
Thank you very much.
thank you so much. So we like to give you the we would like to give you a minute or two to just bring greetings. Then from there we can go ahead with the questioning. We want to say thank you so much again for taking up the opportunity, despite all the challenges with internet issue. You are still here with us today.
It's very hopeful internet will improve, and I want to thank all of you to excel. That's because um, we as the people of the town and the country, particularly in the Salah district, uh, through a lot of pain and sorrow because of with the fire. So we are working, and I'm very happy that we can come on the show. Just want to thank everyone, especially people of Lutheran Church, the Lutherans in America and here, for what they started doing. And I have personally spoken with the bishop, and I know exactly some of the issues that they're starting to address, and some of the issues they have already addressed, and they're planning to address with support from ESP and yeah. So
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to be on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you so much, Father Babana. So tonight, some of our colleagues are not here with us tonight. So, Brother Elijah Zena and myself, we are on the show currently, and we expect Brother Jerry Tableau. Brother Jerry Tableau joins us from Freetown, Sierra Leone. We hope that he will join us as well. If technology will serve him right, and also we're hoping that Brother Abel Lewelly. I think all of you know Abel Lewelly, and one of our hosts, Brother Josiah Jokai. The president has The president has called him from us, so we're trying to allow him to settle in a little bit. And we also have a female, Sis Corpo Sele. She's in Canada and she will be joining us. So at this time, I will have our brother Elijah
Oh,
Zena. Yep. Elijah Zena will ask two questions. Then afterward, I will follow through and I will ask two questions. Then we will go back to Elijah. Elijah will ask two questions and I will ask two questions. We will also be monitoring the live feed questions from the live feed. We will also ask those questions from our viewers.
Well,
okay,
thank
I'm
you very
listening. You can ask the question.
much. Thank you
Elijah,
very much,
go
Mr.
ahead. I'm
Vapila,
listening.
for joining. Thank you. Um, Mr. Vapila, my name is Elijah Zena. I don't know whether you know me, but I think we've crossed paths when I served as national president for the National Lutheran Youth Fellowship. At the time, you were in C Max Banga.
Yes,
So,
yes,
so
yes.
all right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Um, Before I ask you my two questions, we all know the tragic situation that happened in Totota on December 26th, the day after Christmas. A situation that left the community devastated, and up to now, the community is still trying to recuperate from that situation. And we know when this situation happened, there were a lot of people who came on the scene to help the situation, and there were promises made. There were different contributions made and stuff like that. But then out of this situation, your committee was established by the national government to stir the steering committee to serve as a steering committee on the disaster management for Totota fire disaster. So my first question to you, Mr. Vapla, would be what is the TOR of your committee? I want to understand your role. What was your mandate as a steering committee when this disaster committee was established?
And what's the second question? Give the second question as well.
All right. All
Just
right.
give
Then
us
my
two questions. You have two.
Okay, so my okay, I thought you wanted to answer one at a time. I'll give you the second question. Then my second question would be, we understood that when the disaster happened, there were donations made. Your committee received a sum of $10 million in, and then there were promise from the World Bank also of some $450,000 US. So I want to know exactly what has happened to that money and what portion of that money has been spent on the community as well.
Thank you very much. Let me first make a correction. We were never appointed by the national government. When the disaster happened, the government was very slow in acting, and politicians and citizens in Bonn were the one responding. So we met as citizens of Bonn under the guidance of the Bonn County Legislative Caucus to see what we could do as a county to intervene since the government didn't have the resources to intervene. It was at that meeting at the Capitol building that we decided to put a committee together as Bonn citizens that will raise resources to intervene in the crisis. So our committee is a committee of Bonn citizens that we as a citizen we established. And that committee has two structures. It has a steering committee which comprises the Bonn Legislative Caucus. And then under that we have the management team that I chair. So our role is merely to reach out to Bonn citizens and friendly organizations in the county and elsewhere that can help us to intervene until the government can come. It was very disappointing when the National Disaster Committee, National Disaster Agency held a meeting in Monrovia, which I was privileged to attend, and nobody, including the government, had anything to do. It was at that meeting that I told the Minister of Health that listen, we cannot be suffering in the hospitals and not do anything. So I told her, go ahead with our permission to reach to any pharmacy in Monrovia, and we, Bonn County citizens, will pay you. Will pay that pharmacy in a $10,000. So that's how we've been operating. So the money we mobilize, we try to use it mainly for the patients. Patient in the hospital, we're advocating the patients in the hospital, and we have working committees that are responsible for that. We have a medical team headed by Dr. Yata Saki Wapo. Yata is from San Diego Town. She is assisted by Dr. Rich, from District, and she happens to be the daughter of the late Walter Senaro. So she has the team in Bong, along with the county health officer from the county side, and then in Monserrate we have Yata, Shelley, and Yuku. We also have the ambulance team headed by Warner Jr., and that team is responsible to make sure that any patient discharged from the hospital is transported back to Totota in a decent manner. And anybody any death we have at the hospital, that death is also transported. Assisted by the burial team, headed by somebody called Mascot, even Mascot team. So we have the counseling team also in the road at the top. Their responsibility is to get to the hospital and try to talk to the patients and also the patient relatives. So all of these people are pure born citizens. They're not government. They are who volunteer to do this work at no cost to the committee. Their transportation, their food, everything is covered by them. We also have in Totota the Relief Distribution Committee. So that committee is responsible to distribute food to the victims of the fire disaster. So we're able to mobilize over $70,000. I don't have all the quite details. In Liberian dollars, it was 10,000 plus Liberian dollars, a million plus Liberian dollars. To date, we have a bank balance in Liberian dollars of $9,239,150. In US dollar, we have a bank balance of $710. So every week we have a match in Totota that we've been giving reports to the committee, the citizens of Totota. But come to the money, if you know how to use the World Bank, the World Bank doesn't have any mandate to work with community groups like ours. They have direct deal with government. And when the former minister was leaving, she asked her, in my recollection, not a cent of that money that was alleged requested by the World Bank has been disbursed. I also contacted the World Bank manager, in the health manager for the bank, for the fund, Michael Phebe, and his deputy. They also confirmed they haven't disbursed one cent to anybody. What the outgoing minister did was he just asked the guy in the midst of this crisis, since there was an embargo on expenditure from the government, she asked that the money that the bank has for the health sector be reprogrammed to intervene in the crisis. But to my up to date, not a cent has been disbursed from that money to anybody. So let it be, but you contact the Ministry of Health for more clarity and the bank. Status of our patients, for just clarity, we have 8 patients in the hospital. At JFK has 2, EWA has 2, 14 military has 3. That makes it 8 patients. And we have 3 that are really of critical concern to us. 1 at JFK, 1 at EWA, and 1 at 14 military. These patients need dressing, drugs. They need high protein foods, including fish, eggs, and chicken. And then psychosocial counseling. The patients that have been discharged so far from the community, their basic needs are medical first, psychosocial, and physiotherapy. And then they have the needs to dress their wounds and reintegration for livelihood. Mind you, some of the people will not be able to work and they will need a lot of support to get them into better in the communities. We have had two plastic surgeons teams coming to Liberia. The first team came to Sierra Leone, and we sort of buttressed their efforts. We helped with hotel bills, some of the hotel bills. We had we helped with a dinner with them to thank them, and they told us that we would need this would take us 3 to 5 years to really have some of the survivors properly cared for. And they said to us, we need a lot of physiotherapy. We need physiotherapists to work with them. That's what I know.
All right,
So I think you got me laughing. There was interruption in the connection, but I was saying lastly that we've had two medical teams from abroad, plastic surgeons. The first team they even asked us for skin donors. We didn't get any skin donor, so we went back to Sierra Leone. They did some minor patches of wounds with skin they could find on some of the patient bodies, and they told us that it would take us 3 to 5 years for some of the patients to properly recover, and there will be a need to deploy physiotherapists in the communities to help the veterans take enough exercises. Psychosocial counseling should continue, and then we had a second team of plastic surgeons that came. They brought some artificial skin to apply. So these three patients we have in the hospital, in my view, medically, they may need some of those kinds of support drugs because they are critical in terms of the brain. So basically, that's what we have been doing. We have distributed food to survivors and relatives of those who died in Totota, including rice, beans, and stuff. We have, throughout the time, we were able to feed the patients in the hospital and took care of the patient care and the caretakers in the hospital. We've been buying medicine for the various hospitals. Whenever there's need, our medical team on a weekly basis will give us a budget, and then we ask them to go to the pharmacy and take it to make sure that the hospitals take the medication and they follow up. They also visit the hospitals. We've had trauma counselors visiting the hospitals. We have in Totota, we established a psychosocial counseling team, mainly led by pastors, most of whom are nutrient pastors that have been reaching out to people in the community. So far, that's what we've been doing. But we are not a government appointed committee. We are a committee appointed by born citizens to make sure that we help to raise resources to complement the efforts of government in taking care of the patients and people.
Thank you so much, Father Vapilah.
I'm out.
Yes, no. Honestly, the audio is clear, so we really appreciate you for that. And you know, if you can just stay in that location, the audio is clear. So, Brother Zina has a follow-up question for that, and I can follow up.
Yeah,
follow-up question.
Father Vapilah, thank you very much for your explanation, and that was very much important to understand. Your committee is the Boone County Disaster Management Committee, and that's working to help the people of Totota. And as you were explaining and about fundraise for the disaster management of the situation in Totota, you may mention that you have a sum of $9 million and some change in the bank. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand now, Liberian dollar, and you have about $710 US dollar. And so my follow-up question, my follow-up question is that you said that there are a lot of support needed for people who are coming from the hospital going back into the community. I want to understand from you, what is that plan? What does that plan look like? The rehabilitation plan for patients leaving the hospital and coming back into Totota, because we know that there are some of the victims of the disaster who were breadwinners for their family, and now they are disabled. They cannot do anything. What does your plan look like for these people coming back into the community when they leave the hospital?
Our committee has, when you say disaster, it has a time frame. It means we don't go beyond emergency. Rehabilitation is a long-term process. So anything beyond the emergency requires some other agencies to get involved. So what we do is to just flag out the needs and see what agencies can come and support reintegration process. That's not our we don't have that capacity. Our capacity is to make sure that people in the hospitals are treated and discharged and sent back to their communities. So some of the needs, physical therapy. When somebody gets burned, according to the medical team, the plastic surgeon that came from Sierra Leone, if they don't take regular exercises, they may have contraction of the muscles. When that happens, for instance, on the person's leg, the leg will not get straightened up. So the physiotherapist needs to be there to make sure the person exercises every morning or every evening as required by the medical practice. So that is a need. And if that need is not provided by the government or whoever is trying to intervene, it becomes a problem. So we are more into relief. So with the rehabilitation, I had a meeting with the Bishop of the Lutheran Church and ELC and see if they could look into that and see whether we can only we can advocate. We met with Ministry of Health and we told them the need for this to happen. So if they can deploy physiotherapists at the Totota clinic that can make sure to visit them, or if they can have them commute to Monrovia, we may be able to help facilitate that maybe in the next 2 or 3 months. And once the disaster is over, our job is finished. So we have to go back to the community, to the caucus and say, look, the disasters or the management is over, the relief component is over. So what can we do with the rest of the money? Can we allocate it for something for other people to intervene? But we can do that because they told us, for instance, if there's a need to fly some of the patients out here for plastic surgery, that is something that we can handle because that may be in the thousands, it may be 200,000, 100,000, I don't know. So we have 3 critical patients in the hospital that may need plastic surgery. Are we in a capacity to respond to them? It's beyond our reach. We may not be able to do that. We are able to come in the life-saving things and make sure it is done. And this is where all of us come in to see how this can be handled. We have 8 patients in the hospital. 3 we show need critical attention. They may need a broad treatment. I don't know. In fact, one of the patients that was discharged, a policeman referred to Phebe Hospital. He has some other medical conditions. He was asking us to send him to Ghana. And we said, we can't do that. It's beyond our control because what you have, the medical problem now is not fully linked to the fire disaster, unless where you look into insurance or something else. But we can't do that. So we are just a relief organization. If you were here during the war, you know that relief can go that far and reintegration institutions can take over. We don't have that. We don't have that capacity to do reintegration program. We don't have that. It takes a lot. All our committee members are working full time. Everyone is working full time. Garatoto is work with the World Bank assigned to the Ministry of Agriculture. Dr. Yata Wapo is a medical county health officer of Monserrate County. So she's working full time. So we have Shirley also. She's not working now, but she's also a private person. So everyone is volunteering. So we can't handle things that we know about. That's the reason why we can't commit ourselves to going beyond the relief.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Father Vapilah. I'd like to go back to the work of our church. I know you talk about social counseling, and you said the church is involved with that, and you also talked about you talked about Lutherans in the diaspora and the ELCA. Specifically, what is the direct involvement of our church in your committee? That's my first question, and then the second question is, from my understanding, is that your committee has a subcommittee that is on ground, or also a local committee that is on ground, you know, doing some of the work, in collaboration with your committee. We pay host to some of the locals on the show last week, and one of the guests stated that the committee presence has not been felt, and she said that, and I will quote her as saying that, she said, Father, she called her name directly, but I would say Father Vapilah. She said, Father Vapilah, being from Bon County, or Bon County, Bon County son of Bon County, had not even gone to the locals to even speak the Bele vernacular to say Akbalaye. So, she said those are some of the concerns from the locals, that even the national committee has not, been, the presence of the national committee has not been felt among, the locals. Do you mind responding to that question, please, or to the concern, please?
Of course, there's expectation. This is not a relief organization like the Red Cross or MSF. It's a people's organization trying to, so they misconstrue our role. In fact, some people think that our role is to go reach out, do household visitation, reach out and provide some support package to do business. That's not our role. Mm-hmm. Our role is limited to raising resources, coordinating it to ensure that the patients have the right medication, and to advocate with the people to contribute. I am not a medical doctor. So you want me? I went to the hospitals in Monrovia. I couldn't stand it. That's not my role. That's why we have a medical team that goes there. But if you expect me, because I had a committee, I'm going to do a house visit to Totota. No, I don't have that ability and time. So I don't want to start things again. But when we meet mass meeting, everyone comes. I speak in a local language. I speak better very well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So part of the thing people told us that this is part of the issue that we have had to address. Some people thought that because it's Totota, therefore some of us have no link to Totota, and therefore we should not be on the committee. And my response to that is no. You don't even know. I had nephew and niece involved in that saga.
Yeah.
I'm from Sanaye district. Mm-hmm. I'm from Sanaye. But we are not senators of account.
Okay.
Senator accounts are total residents. I'm not. I'm just there to provide the figure and to provide a cloud to make people respect, because I have the respect, so people are comfortable in giving me resources that is put in the bank, and through that we disburse it. Galatoto from Totota, he is the financial secretary. He's the secretary of account. Selena Paulson is from Totota. She's the treasurer. Secretary of the account. Kamo Kane is from Totota. He lives there. He is the co-chair. He's the secretary of account. The Bon County Legislative Caucus has one person to represent their interests, who is a senator account. But he's not an A. The A senators are Selena Posen and Galakuto. So what is the issue? That's the problem.
Right.
And it became so bad that people in the committee, some of them said, I want to leave. I had to say, no, we can't do this. Another assumption they had is that resources for Totota, because the committee name is more a bomb disaster,
Right.
some people felt that the resources for the disaster will be diverted. And I said, no, it's not going to be diverted. What is raised for Totota disaster will be spent on Totota disaster. And now I've already hired an auditor to audit. Right now, as I speak, these accounts were audited. The group in Totota, I've asked the auditor to audit them. The group in Monrovia has been audited. So what do they want? They want us to address the issue of the victims, or they want us to perform the role of government. We cannot perform the role of government. And I tell you straight, if this committee hadn't come in, it would have been a disaster. Because as I speak, the government of the Republic of Liberia has not made 1 cent contribution to this process. Not 1 cent, I know. We had to reach out personally to government officials, and they came and helped because of personal relationship. The caucus, Member Briggs and others have to reach out to their friends. I had to reach out to my own friends. And likewise, everybody else. So we all put the resources. It was so chaotic. Every politician was trying to intervene and fight for the glory. But their followers were fighting. And I said, no, let everybody pull the resources and let a team manage it. So that the pressure will reduce on everyone. And that's what happened. So they all are very helpful. They all are very thankful. They all know that the resources have been spent wisely. We got $10 million from the president. And I'm telling you, we spent it wisely. We got $9 million in the bank.
Right.
Because we put a system in place. Before you spend 1 cent, it has to be documented.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what some people don't like that.
Right. Yeah.
Some people thought that it's a Gorbachev thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they come and I told the committee, not 1 cent will be spent on somebody. And they all understood that. So I understand her concerns. I got a call last week that some people from Kakata, they had to believe that since the rain fell in Totota, so everybody in Totota should drink mineral water, plastic water. But it was a commercial strategy. And when the Reverend called me, I told the Reverend, I said, look, that's not my job. I know medically is not sound. People don't have graveyards in Totota. And people drinking well water. So somebody comes and says we all should drink bottled water. And you believe that and constrain the people to do that. So I understand her concern. If she said I didn't visit her relatives, she may be saying the truth. But it doesn't mean I didn't visit some people. I visited some people. But I can't visit everybody.
That's true. Yeah. Absolutely.
So we have tried to address the needs of everyone. The Muslim community came. We had to clean the land. We also reached out to them to do prayer. The traditional people came and said they had to clean the land. We reached out to them. The Christians came. We said, no, it's better to have a Thanksgiving service and not a memorial service, a Thanksgiving service. When that time comes, when the patients are all out of the hospital, we can give thanks to God for sparing the lives of people.
Yes.
But we try to do what we can. So I'm open to all the criticism. Yes, I take it. But now I take it in good faith. It doesn't anger me. So if you say, I'm not visiting the people to stay with them, she's saying the truth. I'm not visiting the people. Because that's not my role. I can do it, but that's not my role.
Thank you.
Because resources to do that.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Father Vapilah. If you could just respond to the first question, which of course you answered my second question for them. We also have we have a caller on the phone who will be making an input.
What question? I forgot it then.
It was like the relationship with your community and our church directly, because this program focuses on the work of our church, the LCL. Yep.
We have very good relationship. When the disaster happened, I met with the bishop, and then also the trauma counseling head, Reverend
Nushan. Yeah.
Reverend Nushan came to Totota at the time we had started the counseling committee, and he said, "Okay, these are our pastors," and then he told me that okay, but we had to step up that. So what he told me was that they would try to deploy real trauma counselors, and then they were going to work with us to provide some information to them to do a proposal that ELCA and other funders could support, which I spent like 3 hours with them at the church compound trying to generate ideas for the proposal. And then we're supposed to have another follow-up meeting, but that meeting has not been held because he told me he would come sit down with my team and say the needs, and then they will intervene if ELCA provides the support.
Okay.
And we're looking forward to that. And I showed them all of the needs, especially social physiotherapy, and then the reintegration, those 3 aspects. But I caution him that reintegration, there's a lot of expectation since this money from the World Bank was announced. People think that it's money that the World Bank going to divide. The World Bank will not divide any cent to anybody. But I told him the World Bank won't do that. They got guiding principles. The bank will not provide money, and I've been very blunt. We'll never do that in a situation like ours. Even though it's a disaster, but if there was in America, you're going to charge people for something.
Yeah.
Because it was unlawful for them to do that. But it's bad that it happened.
Right.
So under those conditions, I don't think so.
Okay, Brother Vapilah, I want to say thank you again so much. Like I said, we have someone on the phone, have a caller on the phone. Brother Zina has a call. Brother Zina, go ahead.
We have Sonny George on the phone. Can you go ahead with your question?
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Vapilah, how are you? Thanks a lot for appearing. I got high regards for you when it comes to integrity issue. So I can never question your credibility or your intervention or your supervision on any committee. I've worked along with you as a big brother and as a professional person. So when I heard your name on the committee, I felt very safe. I have always been thinking that, you're welcome. I've always been thinking that one of the best ways we can solve this problem in Totota is to approach it from a community-based or perspective. Will you be willing to give your expertise, sir? You were an executive director for NARA for some time. NARA is an organization that helps Liberia in many forms. Will you be willing to give your expertise if there was a stakeholder meetings where everybody would come together, including the victims or the survivors in Totota, to develop a comprehensive proposal along with the Lutheran Church in Liberia, so that the community become a part of it, so that they know what's going on. There's a lot going on, but I think one of the problems is the communication, the awareness, the coordination. I think those are the things that are really, really lacking. We are working, but I'm not sure the information is filtering down to the communities. I think there were all these bad feelings are coming from, if I can speak the Liberian vernacular word. So just yesterday, we had some online meetings. We are proposing a one-day stakeholder consultation. If you'll be prepared to help us to conduct that stakeholder meeting, where we can bring in various stakeholders, the trauma healing program, that is the Liberia, the preachers in Liberia, your emergency because you can't go beyond your statutory time. Emergency is emergency. But if the emergency just stops abruptly like that, there will be much more issue. Is it possible that we can approach the whole calamity from a very viable community standpoint? So we have data, we develop proposal on the data with needs, and then we'll be able to look for organizations that have the capacity to help. The medical area was very, very much. You knew people in the church, you knew their condition, but on the community level, there are so many people with different needs. We have to document those needs and then develop it into a proposal so that everybody in Totota will know exactly where we are going 5-10 years from now. Is that possible? Can you make yourself available?
Did you follow my engagement politically over the last 4 months? I think most of you know that I was playing a very active role in the elections in Liberia. And I also think that many of you may be surprised that I'm not one of the people that has been named in the government. And this is so because I made a commitment, and I told our bishop that, Bishop, one of the reasons why I don't want to take a government job is that I want to work with the church. Today, we were at St. Mark's. I had the building submitted for St. Mark's. I also I'm working on the board of a different university. And so I told Bishop, along with Reverend Musa and others, that there's no shortcut to this. Yes, I'm willing and open to do that. If the church would want me to do it, I will not impose on the church, because I told the church we have bigger issues in the church, and I've been working with them on the other issue about how do we sustain the Lutheran Church in Liberia. If you all will research the ELCA Constitution tonight, I give you the assignment, look at chapter 17, and what it says about incorporated ministries that look for resources to support the church. So we can't be always asking for help. But to tell you bluntly, I do have those skills, and I can do it. If the church so desire and asking to help, I'm open to help. And if Aliyah or any Lutheran group in the diaspora want to intervene directly in Totota and want my assistance, I'm open to help. What I won't do is I won't impose. Because when you impose, then sometimes people don't appreciate it. They have to realize that you have the expertise and they want to work with you. All the church asking for, and which I did, was to provide my expert opinion about the needs in Totota. The church is not asking to help design an evidence-based program based on current needs assessment. If the church asking to do that, we will be able to do it. So the answer to the question is yes, I'm prepared to do that.
Thank you very much, sir. We are developing a concept note. I'm sure by Wednesday that concept note will be out. Maybe we'll share with you. We want everybody to have stake in it. We want everybody to be on the table, from the political leaders down to the community people, so that we hold together and move on together every step along the way. Everybody is aware of what's happening. In this way, I think it will help calm down some of the speculations and then help us to move forward in one understanding. Thank you so much, Honorable Vapilah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Josh.
Thank you so much, Father Vapilah. We're gonna go back again to our brother Elijah Zina. He's gonna ask a question and a follow-up, then we will go to the queue. The fact that you're on the phone, we really not going to take the usual time, so we're going to go to the queue. There are some comments, there are some questions. We will ask them, but we want to go to Brother Elijah Zena. He's going to ask a question and, if possible, a follow-up. Then we will go to the queue. Then it will come back to me. Go ahead, Brother Zena.
Thank you, Willie, and thank you, Mr. Vapla, for your patience with us and the really terrible network in Liberia, and you're making it possible to be on the show to just provide some information. I want to bring our attention to another part of this whole situation, and that has to do with the legal aspect of this situation. We've been talking to a lot of people since the disaster happened in Totota, and we've consistently hearing people, what the people should not have gone down there to take fuel. So for this reason, the trucking company, and there has been no legal action against the trucking company since the disaster happened. We understand that there's a cause and effect situation here, and in as much as we cannot blame a particular person for this for the disaster that happened in Totota, but there was an event that happened that led to this disaster. And firstly, if this area has been barricaded by the government of Liberia, preventing people from the time the truck fell up to the time it exploded, if that place was kind of like prevented or barricaded and preventing people, we don't think this situation was going to happen. And secondly, the fuel was spilling on the ground, and people out of ignorance, knowing for the well, not knowing for the way that this might be a disaster or flammable, they took advantage of the situation to go and scoop some of these fuel that was spilling, and it led towards a disastrous situation. And now, up to present, there has been no liability on the part of the trucking company. I want to understand from you, what is your committee scope of work as it relates to that situation, as it relates to the legal aspect of this situation? Because I believe there should be some liability on the trucking company, because the first thing is that truck has not fallen, there will be no disaster in Totota. And also, what led to the truck falling? There should be some, like, the other narrative that led to the truck falling over there. And besides the disaster, there was environmental pollution that happened there, and that company should be liable to pay some liability to the community for what happened. So I want to hear from your perspective what you've been doing in that direction.
This is it's completely out of our reach because when he was president-elect, he made a commitment and there should be a full investigation. And so that investigation, in my mind, I don't know whether it has been concluded, but I met with the commander of the police in Bonn and tried to prevail on him and ask him why, up to this present, we haven't given the order to have the records removed. He told me there was an investigation. I reached out to the insurance company because after the disaster happened, we said to put some barricades around the scene. So they told me that the insurance company was investigating. I reached out. We even had a public dialogue that we arranged with John Qualley, and he brought the police deputy director and others on the in town in Totota for a public discussion on this. So it's legal. It's beyond our intervention. The last meeting we had in Totota, this was a critical issue, and they asked the town, the city mayor, and all those commissioners, and I said to them, "You are authority here. What role are you playing to make sure that this happens?" And then the representative of the district legislature told us that they were his boss was having other legislators, and they were going to get back to us. And he openly said that the truck company has unofficially agreed to drop all charges against anyone. So it's legal, it's beyond our control. Our job is to look at people who were victimized to make sure they have medical services, and it's beyond this government in place supposed to take the responsibility, make sure the right is beyond. We not a government. We can advocate, but we can't do more than that. So to answer you more bluntly, we have the political or legal mandate to pursue. We've been trying to push, but again, we are just a committee considered by the Bone Legislative Caucus. It was me say the resolvers. It's not that it's constitutional. Just to make sure that we're on
Thank you, Mr. Vapilah. And one last question quickly. I understand that you consistently say this is beyond my reach, this is beyond my reach as my committee. I understand the Bond County Legislative Caucus is part of the government and they are representing the people of Bond County, and they entrusted you to do a piece of work for the people of Bond County. I want to know whether your committee have you made some of these recommendations to the Bone County Legislative Caucus and say, look, this thing happened. You put me into this position to represent you to do this work, but we have XYZ situation. We have people in the community that have been stigmatized. We have this trucking company that has not taken responsibility, that has no liability of what happened in Totota. And hearing from you, I'm hearing that even the trucking company now is blaming the people of Totota for the disaster. So therefore, they're dropping charges against these people, not taking into consideration that it was their action that led to this action happening in Totota. So that's something that you can argue in court or take further. Secondly, so I want to know what is that role between your committee, what recommendations coming from your committee to the legislative caucus, and what the legislative caucus is doing to engage the National Disaster Committee, that is the GOL.
All right, brother Elijah went off. So okay.
Are you hearing me?
I have recommendations.
Yeah, okay,
We have made some recommendations.
yeah. He talked about recommendation. Yeah.
We have made some recommendations.
I can come back if you.
One recommendation we make and we stress is one, that the records be removed. The records will be removed immediately. That has been a long time ago. Recommendation, I don't think much has been done about it. But as far as I know, everything we know, we do, the Bone Legislative Caucus is aware because they have a representation on the committee. In fact, at one political meeting, at one gathering with government officials, the Representative James Collier, who was on the committee, was very vocal. And he said, look, we are a people and parcel of Liberia. And for the disaster to happen, and the government of the Republic of Liberia has made no official statement to either sympathize with us or even say they are providing a cent to help our citizens, is a big disservice to the people of Bone County. And he was very blunt. And he said this is unacceptable. So yes, we have made recommendations to the political leaders. They are aware. So Honorable Member Breeze knows. Even today, I got a letter from the National Disaster Agency, the director, informing, telling me to stop all distribution to victims in Totota and stop all financial interactions. And I said, is this man, you know what he's talking about? And I said, they put a letter into our child and remember brief scheme and said, what is he talking about? A disaster happened in our country, and we put a committee to work. The government has not given us 1 cent, and you come and say they should stop working. They should not make one distribution. So they know. They know every step we make. We have meetings. We make public pronouncements. We inform them every step of the way. They know that. They know that. They know about that. It's just about acting. The director knows. The insurance company that's supposed to have insured the vehicle knows. I understand. The vehicle owner knows. In fact, he came to one of the gatherings, and his representative made some contribution. He said that we were, I know what the people in Totota is on two, we sympathize with you, we work with you. So everyone knows. But the point is, everyone thinks it's a responsibility of a committee that doesn't have that legal mandate. Our mandate was clear. Mobilize resources until the government comes in to make sure that the hospitals have some, where they don't have drugs, you buy drugs and give it to them. If we appeal to our citizens, if they give you drugs, take it there. Make sure the patients have food to eat. When they discharge them, make sure you bring them back to the community. That's what we've been doing. That's our mandate. And exactly what we've been doing.
Father Vapilah, I'd like to come in quickly before we can bring in the few questions that we have in the field, the chat field. You know that few months ago, I would say probably a year or two ago, there was this real disaster in Ohio. You know, okay, pretty much you're familiar with it, and the oil spilled all over the place, and you know there were a lot of homes got burned and everything. The government ordered an investigation, and this company CSX was made to pay some money to that town. Now I'm listening to you. It's just a follow-up to what the question my brother asked regarding the legal part. And I understand your committee scope of work to start in the interim until the government can come in. And you are making report to the Bond County Legislative Caucus. And I know you have not completed your work yet to make that, final recommendation or so. But the Bond County Legislative Caucus, what steps are they taking now? Say, for example, the budget. I don't think the budget has been passed, but the budget now that is being discussed. Is there anything in there that the Legislative Caucus has said that, you know what, we're gonna put something in here for this, situation that happened in Totota? That's one. Two, is the Bond County Legislative Caucus looking in a direction wherein if the government cannot come in, wherein our people, our citizens, they've been marginalized, they've not been listened to, they've been, their cry have been like put down the recycle bin. Totota is the major way up north, I would say. Is the Bond County Legislative Caucus thinking on some action that will call the government attention? Because let's agree that what's the name had already gone. Okay, he didn't do what he's supposed to do. But we now have a different government. We've gone more than 1 month now. The president has called for, even he was president-elect, he called for an investigation. That investigation has not been done, and someone sent you even letters saying stop everything. What is the Legislative Caucus doing? What are they thinking on? What are some of the next steps are they thinking on? Because today is Totota Bond County. Tomorrow it could be Lofa. It could even be Grand Jide. It could even be Nima County tomorrow.
I can't, you see, to tell you the truth, the Born Legislative Caucus, they were very fast-sided in putting the committee together.
Yeah, sure.
And I must give them the credit. I must give them the credit because they all came and intervened in the crisis. Some of them were acting as relief workers. They were providing fuel. Some of them gave their vehicles. They were at the hospitals, transporting patients. It was overwhelming for them. We just had another instance in Kitmon where some people were shot. They had been denied demonstration.
Yes.
So we are the only county that did this action. And what was even disappointing is that when we had that meeting at the headquarters of the National Disaster Agency, there was no one international organization, to my knowledge, that made an outright commitment to intervene. They all said, we are going to consult. And since they went to consult, the consultation has gone on. So I give them that credit. So no international organization, to my knowledge, who came with sustained intervention. So in terms of budgets, I don't think there's a budget allocation for Totota disaster. And I don't know to what extent there's a national budget for the disaster management agency that has the constitutional mandate to intervene in such instances. I don't think so. Where there has been a disaster, it was so bad. There was a disaster after Totota. There was a fire outbreak in Banga. I think 3 houses got burned. In the western of my community in Totota, they thought because the name is Bone County Disaster Management, they decided with advice from the National Disaster Committee to send it bears the rights to those who were affected in Banga. And it brought about a big problem. I had to call to tell them, no, abolish that intervention, go to Banga and ask, I was buy the rights and you give it to them. And will not take the order from the National Disaster Committee to take rights from Totota and send it to Banga under the pretense that they were going to replace it. I said, no. What is destined for Totota remains for Totota. That's the extent to which I was in the States one time. There was a tornado.
Yeah.
And I went with Red Cross to help. And I see the kind of intervention everybody gathered. In our case, no. Of course, well-wishers have come in, but it was initially the legislative caucus and people of the county that were the first responders. They were the first responders. I know Senator Phebe was up. I know, I remember Breeze. I know that James Colette, they were overwhelmed until I called them and said, it doesn't work this way. You have to have a team that will help you coordinate this for you. You can't do it. You're not a medical professional. You don't have any medical experience. Right. So they have tried, and now with the legal aspects, I don't know much about it. I don't know whether the investigation has been concluded. And maybe because it's not concluded, that's why they have not removed the wreckage, even though we have repeatedly called for the removal of wreckage to make sure so that people who are present by will not reflect on the trauma. Yeah, citizens in Totota will not reflect on trauma, but that hasn't happened.
Okay, Father Vapilah, again, want to say thank you so much. And folks, we want to say thank you for being very patient with us. Today we have with us Father Tornorlah Vapilah. He is the board chairperson of the Phebe Hospital, a member of St. Mark's Lutheran in Banga. I think we also have a picture. Father Vapilah, I got your picture up here. We received your picture today from the ceremony.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I hope you guys are people to our church.
Yeah, at the church, yeah. Reverend P.
We $500 worth of checks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna have a special conversation on that. So, one thing is that any guest who appears on our show, I mean, it's the first of many times that you're going to appear. So we want to say thank you for the first time coming. We have a few questions here. One we have from Dr. Toto. I think you know Dr. Toto, Dr. George Toto. He's asking. He posted a question here asking, do you have a specific date when the disaster management team will be over? That's the first question in the queue. Then the second one here is more like a comment. This is from Deacon Moses Sumo Keda. Deacon Keda. He said, Mr. Vapilah, thanks for all you people are doing. However, due to the psychosocial nature of the disaster, it is good for you people to find time to physically sit with the people. It could help your work too. So he's just making a recommendation. So we have a question from Dr. Toto and a recommendation from Father Vapilah. And we also want to recognize Brother Jerome Jala. Brother Jerome Jala is the former youth president. He's following us from Monrovia as well. And also you listen to Brother Sonny George. He was on the phone earlier. Yeah, so you can comment on the suggestion that was made by Deacon Keda, asking for a sit down with community members and also Dr. Toto.
We have a social counseling team in Totota. I know the last time we had a meeting, both the social team and the relief committee, we had an issue where the people in that they were being called to come to the center to receive food items, and culturally that wasn't for them fit. Made a decision that instead of the people coming, the social counselor should visit the people and talk with them, and then the food distribution should be at doorstep. And the budget was submitted, and we found that the budget is $84,000 Liberian. So whenever they give us the plan of action for intervention, we found it. I'm even aware that citizens of Totota in the U.S. sent some money, and the social counselor will provide some motorbikes. So they are there, and they are all looking pastors, I'm told. And so they're supposed to be in the communities, reaching out to the people. What I know is before any patient is discharged, we communicate with them, and they are able to prepare the families to receive the patients. When there's death in the hospital, we alert them, and they go and do that. What is done on a sustained basis, but when we meet, they tell us they're reaching out. So I know some minimum support has been provided for that. So that is ongoing. In terms of when the disaster will be over, the medical team has told me as long as we have patients, we have the moral obligation to continue to reach out to them. Because the government, the former government promised that they will take care of the hospital bills. Some hospitals are provided over $50,000 as bills. And so we are committed to help with some of the medication. So as long as they are in the hospital and we have money, we'll continue to reach out to them. We'll continue to take care about their feeding and their well-being. Until such time when we are told that that's the other discharge, they are transferring them. So I would think maybe in the next 2 to 3 months, our time will be over, depending on how the 8 patients in the hospital respond to medical treatment. If we are lucky to discharge 5 of them, we have 2 left. And if medical report says that the 3 need to have special treatment and they have returned out of Liberia, then maybe we have to reach out to everyone, including the government, to see how they mobilize resources to get them out of here. But basically, I will have to speak to my medical team. I know that they have told me that the emergency phase is gradually succeeding.
Mr.
Uh,
Vapilah, just a quick follow up on that question on the question you just answered.
Elijah, before you
The
come in,
local
please. Elijah, before you come in, please. Someone posted in the comment that he hopes. Okay, brother John Dixon is asking, saying that, good evening, brethren. I hope the call line will be. The call line is open. Please look on the screen. 763-439-0458, and we have just a few more minutes to take calls because Father Vapilah has to go. It's late in Liberia now. So if you want to call, please, the number is on the screen. Again, it's 763-439-0458 if you have to call in. So please do that now. Go ahead, brother Elijah.
um Father, I just wanted to address the situation about the local committee working in Totota. And like you rightly said, there has been minimal support given to this group in Totota. And the last time when we hosted them, it was made known to us that they have received only 16,000 Liberian dollar from your committee to them. Most of the money that they have worked with, it has been the money that came from the Totota citizens in the diaspora. And now we understand that you got 9 million Liberian dollar in the bank. So why is it that you're not giving some of these money, some of those money to the total that local team to work on a daily basis? But rather they are stranded and little bit like micromanaging what they have in total that to do the work on a daily basis.
Who did he speak to? Because who did he speak to?
We spoke to Romeo Moma, we spoke to Dixon, and we spoke to Fita Kuyata. We spoke to the three of them.
I, 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 I only the part of the committee.
No,
Every time.
Oh, sorry.
Are they part of the committee?
So sorry, Father Vapilah. They are not part of
Yeah,
the community. They are local. They are local
So how,
members of the. Yeah.
yeah,
so how do you
we're
get the
talking
money?
about the steering committee, the total steering committee.
Huh? I don't think
So,
we we do not give money to individuals. In total time, the major thing in total time that we support are food distribution, and social counseling. So, we're not trying to go on it. No, the money is passed to the committee. And if the last time we went to the black committee was making a report, and maybe I will send you when I get the report, I can send you a snapshot of the report, how much this total and all that, and how much money we received. So we submitted a budget, we approved, and the money was due from the bank to the committee to work with. As a matter of fact, most of the money that was in Totota, we left with the committee in Totota. And when I asked to make a request, Ms. Totota is spent in line with the cost. So people say I just feel someone people it's $7,000 and then do send more than that. So after the report is made, I can send it to you all and you will see where the facts are. It's not true. It's not true. We have over 300 rising. Not a single bear was removed from Moravia. 10 bear, I think, was removed from the hospital. The rest of the food remained there. Slippers, wrappers, sardines were all there for them to distribute, and we pay for them too. So, I tell you, who was on the committee would say that's not true. That's a big lie. That's a big lie. Even the person who gave her a budget to buy motorbikes, we said we can't buy motorbikes for you. because it's beyond us. Who's gonna own a motorbike after the program? And look at that, they got the motorbikes. If they come and say the name gasoline, we buy gasoline. But it's not. It's on. I just speak to the people. Come on, Soko. Come on, Finance is there. Talk to Ira Masakwa. If dead bodies burial, if you have not been given money to bury dead bodies, talk to the Muslim community. If we didn't get $500, talk to the traditional people. Didn't get uninformed. Our duty is to make sure that we provide support to care to the victim medically. What we don't have money for is to give people money to go do business. We don't demand it. We don't have that kind of money to divide.
All right, yeah, we want to say again, thank you so much. We hope that the network will have been more favorable for us this evening, but all of the responses that you are giving this evening, they are very clear, and everyone is listening to this. Brother John Dixon, if you can call this, save the number that is on the screen right now, and call by WhatsApp, that will be better for you because I'm using my phone right now on the line with Father Vapilah. So we will just take one more. So I will come in with one question. Father Vapilah. So
good. I got John on the line.
Yes, go ahead.
I got John Dixon.
Okay, so we have John Dixon on the line. He will ask a question, then I will just ask one, then we'll be having the closing comment.
Go ahead, John. You're live.
It's interrupting.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. We have John. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're live, John. Go ahead.
Let me say good evening to you guys in studio and good evening to the studio guest, Honorable Vapilah. Thanks a lot for your deliberation this evening. But I got a few concerns. One is, from your report, we have $9 million left in the budget. And now there is attention sparking from the community. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so
that was the bank balance.
No, you go ahead. We hear you.
Okay, so I'm asking the studio guest, according to your report, we have $9 million Liberian dollars with 200 and some more US dollars left in the budget. So how soon do victims
Father Vapilah, since the network is breaking up, let's wait for him to complete. Then you will come in, please, with the corrections.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dixon.
Go ahead, John.
Dixon thought that his network was giving him trouble, but I would dial him right back because there was consistent talk back. So let me just give him a call right back. We'll have it. Hello, John. Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah. So my question is, how soon do victims expect to benefit from whatever gesture that has come in terms of cash? Because giving people the supply in terms of the rice, all of those items you need, these are all important components to the disaster management. But how soon do victims? Because right now, as we speak, there is a tension that must soon spark up if this is not taken care of. We are in a community, we are seeing what victims are up to at the moment, because they have been told from the report that came from the Honorable Vapilah committee that we have $9 million Liberian dollar left in the budget. So how soon do they expect to benefit from such funding? That's one. Two, first, they're aware that this committee, based upon the recovery process, must soon come to an end. Is there a long-term plan to help victims to be able to recover from whatever they're going through right now? Because we are aware there are people who are breadwinners for their family, and some of them are noble. So is there any long-term plan to be able to help some of those who survived this incident and those who died, who lost their breadwinners, for them to be able to survive?
Okay, let me take the first one. We don't have the mandate to distribute money. So it's not part of a plan to distribute money. So the $9 million we have not left as of 3 weeks ago, Liberian dollars, is meant to take care of those already in the hospital. Once you discharge from the hospital, our emergency phase is over. You go to reintegration. So that reintegration has to look at institutions that have the institutional mandate and capacity to deal with that. So we don't have that ability to deal with it. We are just a committee. We don't have an office. It's not an institution. It's just a committee of, I think, 5 people or 6, and we have working committees. So that is not our role to do that. What we have been doing as citizens is to have dialogue with institutions. For instance, the Lutheran Church of Liberia has expressed interest to intervene, but it would take some time. They have to do proposals, and they have to do that. So if they do that, and when they do that, they can intervene. We've spoken to the Red Cross. If they have the ability to bring some physiotherapists to intervene, yes. But as a committee, our role is limited mainly to ensuring that the disaster, especially the emergency phase, is handled properly. So nobody, unless the National Disaster Committee has a plan to intervene long term, but we don't have that on our plate, and I don't want to lie to anybody to tell you that money, $9 million Liberian dollars, is intended to divide to people to do business. I'll be lying to you. We don't have that kind of capacity to do that. So institutions with the requisite capacity can handle that. So if and when the Lutheran Church in Liberia gets the support from their donors, I don't know how much money would that be, they can intervene. But again, I don't have control over that. There are agencies in the world that are set up to intervene, like the plastic surgeons that came. That those are institutions. They came from America. I had a discussion with one honest guy a few weeks ago, and he told me he reached out to me and said, "How can we help? I have this group in the States. I can reach out to them." And they came on the ground. The group from Sierra Leone came and left. So it's not something that a small committee like ours can handle. It's beyond our capacity. I won't lie to you. That money, it may sound big, but it's nothing. If we were to pay medical bills in the hospital, one hospital would have exhausted a long time ago. Because one hospital bill, some of the hospitals are presenting bills of $80,000, $60,000 United States dollars. And the government of the Republic of Liberia has offered to take care of that. We are just a people's committee. I hope it's understood.
Yes, we are just a people's committee. Father Vapilah, I want to say thank you so much. We're going to have you coming back on Phebe specifically, and any other issue that we have to talk about, and also see Max Banga. We'll also have to call you back, and we discuss the issue of Max Banga, this building project, and Phebe. Like I said from the beginning, that whenever I see your work in the church, especially Phebe, St. Mark's, it reminds me of the late Dr. G. So Father Vapilah, at this time we will just have your closing comment, and we again want to say thank you so much for being here with us, and we look forward to having subsequent conversations in the future.
Thank you very much, my fellow friends. beyond our church has challenges. All of our institutions are in crisis, and those crises are driven by the lack of sustained masses. Even the little university we are talking about establishing may run crisis if the church have the requisite financial support. 4 years ago, I started a discussion under the leadership of Reverend Dr. Jensen Sankolo, talking about the 4 ministries of the church, the financial ministry. I spoke to many conventions. Today, our church still lingers in Christ. To business people, because we don't have the institutional capacity to invest and get economic return. That is an issue I've been raising with the current bill. Asking all Lutherans to join us and make sure that our constitution is revised to mirror it with the ELCA constitution that provides the legal mandate for ELCA to invest into corporations to generate funds to support ELCA and its mission across the world. Our pastors have not seen this. We as lay leaders have seen it. So I call on you, that's an issue that we can discuss, but I'm asking all of you tonight to research ELCA Constitution chapter 17. And you see in that constitution clearly that ELCA says in its constitution that we will establish separately incorporated ministries. And those ministries are corporations. And those corporations have boards. And those boards run those corporations to generate money to support the work of the church. You all know about the ELC Endowment Fund. You know about the pension board. Yes. You know about mission fund. You know about ELC women.
ELC credit
union. You know all that. You know about the publishing house. Yep. What is wrong with Liberians? What is wrong with the church in Liberia that we can't do that?
We can do it. Yep.
That we think that the church only has 3 ministries: healing, preaching, teaching. And I've been telling all the bishops, no, we have 4 ministries. Yeah. And the 4th one is a financial ministry.
That's right.
So I close on that. It's an issue that I want Lutherans to discuss before the convention. And that when we go to convention, we resolute to revise the constitution to make sure that our church establishes corporations to raise money. Committees can help us. Thank you. And thank you very much for the opportunity provided me to serve on this panel tonight. And I hope that I gave well understood. I've given such clarity to the mass meeting in Totota, and I'm very grateful to all of you. And together we can build a better church. Thank you. And God bless all of us.
Thank you so much, Father Vapilah. We will continue the conversation with you in the back end, especially to host a section on conversation on revising the constitution of the Lutheran Church in Liberia to fit present day reality. That instead of one of the prior missions, healing, teaching, and preaching, we should have it extended. There's more to that. So we want to appreciate you so much, and we'll continue to have a conversation in the back. Thank you so much, Father Vapilah. Have a great night.
Thank you, God bless.
Okay. That was Father Vapilah, Tornorlah Vapilah, chairperson of the board, Phebe Hospital, an eminent Lutheran, a board member, Lutheran University, St. Max Lutheran Banga member. Elijah, that man, I'm part of St. Matthew. You can't be saying St. Matthew.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. Everybody don't have to come from St. Peter's.
That man, I know St. Peter's. That man know St. Peter's. They,
Oh yeah,
they
that man,
made
he
they
could be
made
there.
much more closer to St. Matthew. You know what they made let me? I know they made hard. It made let me much more closer to St. Matthew than St. Peter. It made that part of St. Peter. But
You
Elijah, I
know
mean,
your
it was a great show. It was a great show this evening. He actually provided the information. I know that a lot that we expect or we want the committee to do, but the committee has a scope that she got to work
yeah,
in. So she cannot go beyond bounds. You see now that the disaster team saying, okay, we are in power now, so cease every operation you carry on. Don't do our work. Give our work to us for us to do. But no, this committee was set up by the Bond County Legislative Caucus, and the people of
yeah,
Bond County elected these people to represent them. So this
yeah.
committee is reporting directly to the people of Bond County, whereas the disaster team is reporting to the president of the Republic of Liberia. So they need to go ahead and do their job and leave this committee
I
alone. Go
hope
ahead, brother.
I hope this committee can do more to step beyond their scope of work and push national government to do something for the people of Totota. And I consistently heard that Mr. Vapilah speaking, and he consistently said, "This is beyond my scope. This is beyond my scope," and that's the reason why I asked for recommendations. What are recommendations coming from your committee to the national government or to the legislative caucus, because things that are beyond your control, you can identify them, and then you make recommendations to national government and or the legislative caucus, and then they can take that up with the national disaster management team of the Republic of Liberia. They have oversight over those areas. They can invite the chairperson on the national disaster and ask him what has he done about the situation in Totota, and the chairperson on the national disaster management of Liberia should be able to answer questions on what has been their role in the situation in Toyota. Like when I heard from him about the trucking company saying, "Oh, we waive everything against the people in Toyota," like the people of Toyota actually created this problem for themselves. That is so
Yeah,
naive
yeah.
for somebody to say, because if your truck had not fallen in Toyota, we would not be talking about disaster in Toyota today. So the fault starts with you. You threw your truck down there because of some stupid road rage, and that led to the disaster. So you got liability in this situation. So there should be somebody to stand up and speak for the people of Totota, and not just leaving the people of Totota by themselves. So I hope that the Tornorlah Vapilah committee and that of the local committee, like Brother Sonny George said, sit down together, plan a roadmap, and present it to the national government and say, "Look, this is our long-term plan. We have people who are suffering. There are people who left their families. Family are struggling. How can we help these people?" And I think that will go a long way than just limiting out their work to the scope of their term of reference, and as a disaster management team.
And
But
Brother Zena,
yeah,
I do agree with you. Sorry to come in. I do agree with you that we expect more. We want the committee to do more, but the committee has a work to do. The work now the committee can do is to make these recommendations to the legislative caucus. They have the power.
yeah,
They have the power to
yeah, they
even
do.
they have the power to meet with the president and say
Yeah,
the investigation you call for, has the investigation started, because the wreckage is
yeah,
still there. You heard Father Vapilah, he said record. And as I speak to you tonight, people are running over the normal mile per hour in Totota. As we
yeah.
speak,
They're still
they
doing
are
it.
still
Yeah,
running the normal mile per hour over the normal mile per hour in Totota.
yep,
Okay, and
yep.
nothing is being done. So the legislative
No,
caucus should be here. For me, I'm not really going to hold this committee a lot. I'm going to hold the
no.
legislative caucus. If I had, if I mean, we are working towards things. If we can just get hold of Honorable Breeze, we tell her thank you for the work that she has done, but she needs to do more. She needs to do
Actually,
more.
Honorable Prince Moy is
But
the
Honorable Moy,
chairperson for the. Yeah, he's the chairperson for the Bond County Legislative Caucus, and I think we have to try to make some connections to see how best we can talk to him.
exactly. No, we
We
have
will
another
not
series.
Yeah, we will start making
Elijah, let us have
You have
another
that-
series. Let us bring in
Yeah.
the legislative caucus. Let us talk to them. We've talked to the citizen or Totota citizen in the diaspora. We've spoken with the local people. We've spoken with the committee chairperson. Let us bring in the
Yeah, 'cause-
legislative. What are they thinking about? What are
Yeah,
they thinking
because
about?
they have oversight over government agency. Yeah, so they should be inviting the national chairperson or national disaster of Liberia. That person
Absolutely.
should be answering questions to the legislatures and they should be asking them, "What have you done?" Because you consistently hear people saying the government have done nothing since the disaster happened.
And
We
listen,
know it
listen.
happened we know it happened during Opon's leadership. It
Right.
took about 2 weeks before they announced national disaster and stuff to that.
National Day of Mourning. Let's forget about
Yeah,
that, Joe. We are gone.
he's gone now.
Elijah,
You know?
Elijah, listen, let me say something quick, right? And for me, there's one of my recommendations too. Put a tour right in Totota, let people pay money when they're crossing through Totota, and they can use some of that money to what they help the people there.
Yeah,
That's
put a
another
tour. Yeah,
anybody who
tour,
crosses that, they should pay money.
Yeah.
Since the citizen look for this upon himself, put a toll right in Totota, left and right.
Yeah.
Anyone crossing Totota should pay. Going coming, they should pay money. We pay money here.
Yeah.
You go Maryland, you cross the toll in Maryland, you will pay. You will
Yeah.
pay. The people roll here, they got toll. You will pay for the roll.
Yeah.
Even though you pay taxes, but you will pay for the roll.
Yeah.
They should write toll on the highway in how you call it, Totota. Let them pay anyone using that road. It can be Sidishan, it can be Wiashe, it can be Bakadishan, it can even be it can be ANCN, it can be anybody. You have to pay money to Totota before crossing that place. And money will go into somewhere, somehow money gotta go in to take care of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere, some money
that's
gotta go to take care of these people. That's what I'm thinking on right now. That's what I'm thinking on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
We don't have tolls in our house. People, road users are using the road free, no tolls.
Exactly.
So that, yeah.
So again, man, brother, I want to thank you. I mean, we want to thank all of our viewers. I mean, we want to say thank you all so much. Thank you so much. By next week, we have 2 Sundays. We are very much hopeful that our bishop will be coming on for last Sunday, Bishop's Hour. And next week, we hope to bring in the newly elected president of the Lutheran Youth Fellowship, even though he has not taken seat yet, but we hope to bring him on along with the we're gonna share it to bring also the national men leadership. They also have elections, so we're gonna bring them in, and hopefully we can try to get consult. We can with the Totota citizens here in the diaspora. We'd like to have a direct conversation or direct contact with the legislative caucus, members of the legislative caucus of Bond County. We need to hear some next step action. What are they thinking? What are they planning to do? What are they, if they need help, they can also speak with their colleagues. Okay. Now, in fact, you can even have a Lutheran caucus. You have some Lutherans that are part of the legislature. Lutheran legislative caucus, and however other people want to name it. But again, folks, want to say thank you all so much. Brother Elijah, want to give you a minute. You can give your closing comment, and then I will also do mine, and we'll be wrapping up for today.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I just want to say thank you to our listener, and we will continue the conversation around the disaster in Totota, and we'll continue to bring you good information over here and engaging leaders of our communities to be accountable to the people that they serve. And we just say continue to listen to Malucha Connection. We are here to serve you and provide you with good information. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Zena, and also I want to join you to thank all of our viewers. Thank you for your patience today, and most especially I want to thank Father Vapilah. I know perhaps he might not be tuning in, but we want to thank him so much. We want to thank him ever so much for making himself available. Before we leave today, I just want to show you something. Watch this.
Hey yo.
That's it, folks. We want to thank you all so much and keep tuned to my Lutheran Connection.
I didn't see where you went, though.